are you wearing? You are wearing bad vampire fashions. That is the most heinous crime. Some call our destination a mecca of the depraved.
America's premier nocturnal playground.
Sin City U.S.A, baby!
Viva Atlantic City!
Don't sing if you want to live long. They have no use for your song. You're dead, you're dead, you're dead, you're dead and out of this world.
Here, this is the League Podcast, the Vampire Council. What we do in the Shadows Podcast. I'm Matt Dursin.
Clay Inferno.
All right, welcome to our Season 3, Episode 4 and 5. Double up here.
Double up, double up, double up, double up. We started the season off with a double up, and here we are again, just merely weeks away with another double up.
That's right. This time, it wasn't because they showed 2 episodes in one night, though. It's because we weren't able to do it last week. So here we go.
Here we are.
Double dose of what we do in the shadows. Goodness. How are you, Clay? Sorry, I didn't ask you that.
I'm doing just fine. How are you?
Oh, just fine.
Great.
Great. So here we are, episode 4. We'll
The
see
casino.
What? The casino. Yes. The gang takes a little trip. They take a little trip to, what do they call it? Like the Mecca of the depraved and America's premier playground of hedonistic debauchery. Atlantic
US
City.
of A. Sin City U.S.A, baby.
Yeah.
Atlantic
Right.
and like the whole time Matt Berry is playing Viva Las Vegas on the piano, and then he finally kicks in with Viva Atlantic City. Viva Atlantic City.
It's actually a really nice moment in the little teaser or whatever, like before the credits. He's playing the piano, and then he actually goes into the theme
You're
song.
dead. Yeah, he
That
goes
was-
into You're Dead. It was very
That
cool.
was really cool. That was funny. I like that. Yeah. So, yeah. So this one, but they go. It's a big trip. It's not just the vampires. It's
We got to remember our friend Anthony Antimazak is Shawnee next door, and his wife Charmaine. They were going to renew their vows in Atlantic City for the weekend.
yeah. So them and a bunch of their friends, and he gets. Of course, there's like an Ocean's 11 remark in there because
because he's obsessed with Ocean's.
He's obsessed with Ocean.
The Ocean's
I think he even says
franchise.
like, "Oh, and 12, it's not that bad. You know, it's not that bad." Looking back,
No, he
on
was
it,
that whole thing is about 11. He's like, I recently watched 11, and I got 11 friends here, and that's what. And he's like, and he goes, it does a decent amount of world building.
Yeah,
Anyways,
right.
let's go to the casino.
World building. But yeah, I mean, it's great to see them get out. I mean, it's one thing.
That guy's hilarious, man. He's the best, Sean.
Sean
We
is
get to
pretty
see,
funny.
and spoiler warning,
He's been in a lot this
episode
season.
5 too. Yeah, he's like a series regular almost. So it's
Yeah.
Christian Shaw, I guess. Wow.
Yeah, Kristen Shaw is also, yeah. But yeah, so there's a lot of first of all, like, what is the deal? I'm trying to remember. One of the things is like they had to bring their dirt with them, their dirt from their homeland, so that they could sleep better
Yeah, it
during
has
the
something
day.
to do with their powers.
Yeah. And then but they just brought like a handful of dirt.
Yeah, and sprinkled it around their beds.
Right. And then
And Laszlo says it's a big deal for us vampires to travel. He's like, we haven't gone in like, decades. We haven't gone on a trip like this, and and he's like, yeah, we have to bring our soil, and it's not just like a bunch of like papers and wanking off Morris from steerage.
he talks a lot about
jerking guys off.
Yeah, he does. Even in episode 5 as well, he's like, I thought it would be a big circle jerk. But, anyway, yeah. So later on, first of all, yeah, they get to the casino. Nadia thinks that she sees her old friends, the Rat Pack. This is one of the storylines of it, but they're just the guys that actually don't even really look like.
Yeah, one
Sinatra
of the Frank Sinatra guy is Chinese, which Laszlo mentions later.
Yeah, he's like, I don't recall him being Chinese.
That's really really awesome, like graphic work too, when they Photoshop Nadja into like all those classic Rat Pack photos.
Oh, yeah.
It was like really awesome.
And I don't even remember what was the deal. Like they owed her money or something. I don't even.
No, they just they said yeah. Well, I freshly watched this, so I can I can carry us through the plot a little bit. So they go and yeah, they just go to the show with after the dinner where Colin energy vampires one of Sean's friends, and like he passes out. Yeah. But everybody thinks that the guy's just drunk or something at dinner. And then they go on to Colin Robinson, and he's just like shows that he just fed off that guy. And then they start bossing Guillermo around. Like, yeah, we'll go get a broom.
Story is really so. He's of course the bodyguard now, as we know. He's no longer just the familiar. But they decide they're like, oh, we we don't treat Guillermo like what I mean. We never take an interest in any of his.
Yeah, well, Nandor feels a little bad, so he's like, treat him like part of the team. Don't just boss him around. After they're like, fucking go get a broom right now, Guillermo. Not just like really laying into him. And so when he sits back down, he's like, they're bringing him up and a broom over, so cool. And not just like, oh, okay, cool. Guillermo, do you have interests? And, and he's like, yeah, I have interests.
At one point, she asked if he maybe has a chubby girlfriend.
Well, he doesn't. She doesn't like. She's totally disconnected from the human thing too. Again, where she just like stops at asking him if he has interests and doesn't ask what they are.
Right. Do you have interests?
And then Colin Robinson, do you have interests? Yeah, I like to walk around. I like to stare.
Well, and Colin Robinson does that whole like team thing, like because from his jobs, because he's the one. He's the only one who has a job.
They always say we're just one big family here, and then people do all sorts of degrading shit while they ignore their actual families.
Right. I love this.
And I think he says that to Guillermo. He goes, we're just one big family here.
Yeah, one big family. So yeah, that's like the sort of the running gag there with Guillermo. But I love it. Yeah, he's like, why would she have to be chubby when she says?
And then he's
do
like,
maybe have a chubby girlfriend?
Well, we, my family would keep that stuff private.
Yeah.
But yeah, Laszlo and Nadja are like just like talking about fucking and being like, "Oh, you little sick fuck," and then Colin Robinson goes, "Tell us, you stinky bitch." Right when he goes, because Guillermo was just about to say like, "Well, I was 10 years old when I realized that," and then Sean comes crashing in. He goes, "Hey, Frankie, when he fell, he got glass in the casserole, so the casino comped us. Here's a bunch of chips," and then they all go and gamble, and then it's just like they're on out from there.
Yeah, and Narendor is playing what is the weird slot machine? I can't even remember.
The Big Bang Theory.
The Big Bang. That's what it is. It's like, Bazinga! That's pretty good. Yeah, they're all gambling with, it's basically literally house money, right?
Yeah.
But so the big thing is the housekeeper cleans up the dirt, basically vacuums up the dirt.
Because Colin Robinson is like just watching the basically the infomercial that the hotel plays.
Right.
On that's like, fill the air, the sushi is raw, come on down to the casino, or whatever the song is, and like he's just like watching it, and he says, "You know what it's like
really
when
funny. It's the
when
only thing he watches, and he's
when
really
you
excited.
Binge watch something.
I was watching that.
So, you know what it's like when you have binge brain.
Which apparently now I didn't remember this because I haven't seen the movie in forever, but that was kind of a nod to Bram Stoker's Dracula, right? Where he had like Earth dragged in from Transylvania or whatever, right? It was, I don't know. That was what I don't remember, right? Yeah, but it's a thing.
Oh, okay.
Having the dirt there. So they end up sending Guillermo like around the world, which is I was a bit weirded out. I was like, really? That's what you can do? Like, would he be able to get to all those countries
in like 24 hours or something? Yeah. So I don't know where
Guillermo
we were.
Goes like around the world.
But in order to do that, he has to Laszlo has to go beg Sean for some emergency money, and Sean is obviously like in the deep shit, like Uncut Gems style, like betting on like an NBA game or something. Where's the D? Where's the D? And he's just like, Sean is like basically, I think he's basically like Fred Flintstone, you know what I mean? Like he's always like happy and like shitty things are happening to him, but he's always just like, yeah. And then Laszlo, even though he doesn't have the dirt and they need to slumber, he tries to turn into a bat. He turns into a sparrow, and he goes, "Oh, sparrow, lamest of birds." but Laszlo, like, he's like, I can't hypnotize Sean to get his credit card, but he does. He goes, "You will give me your credit card without asking for. I can't tell you why."
Yeah.
And Sean's like, "You're my best buddy." That's like, and he's like, my Patrick Ewing limited edition Discover card is like for emergencies only. Like, but go right ahead. But you just basically you gotta pay me back. But
everything is like, don't tell his wife and everything.
Yeah, just don't tell Charmaine. Yeah, don't tell her.
He's one of those guys, who's like, oh, this is just between us or whatever. Like, it's always like his wife knows nothing about what's going on.
And so he ends up taking like, or putting like almost $8,000 on this credit card from Sean to send Guillermo to. And I was trying to think about how they filmed it. I was like, well, they obviously just like they just shot it like with like really close up, camera work, and they must have found like a tourist like double-decker bus or something like at the airport or something, just shot it like wherever they film, like in Vancouver or whatever,
right?
Like I was like, they didn't obviously send it around the world, Yeah, and I thought maybe even the Greek,
because like the documentary crew doesn't go with Guillermo; he's shooting it all on his own phone.
On his phone, yeah.
So it's pretty funny, and he just literally gets out, scoops up dirt, gets right back on, like goes right back to the airport.
And he had to like go to Iraq and stuff. It was like weird.
He had to go to some great places just to get dirt. Oh wait, he went to like 3 different. I forget.
It was England,
from England,
England, Greece, and probably like it seems like it was like Iraq, which is probably where Nandor's from, right?
Yeah.
So So like Nadia from Greece and Laszlo from England. Yeah.
So
who knows where Colin Robinson's from, but he also doesn't need the dirt. So.
He doesn't need the dirt, right? Because he doesn't slumber. He doesn't have to slumber during the day. But
roll the dice, spin that wheel. I was just singing the song. I remembered it. It was roll the dice, spin that wheel.
Then they actually like decide to do something nice for a change, and
because Laszlo is like doesn't want to ruin Sean's life.
Right. Yeah. He finds out they put all this money in his credit card. His wife is gonna kill him or whatever, and they decide to win his money back.
And they do that because back to the Rat Pack. Nadia goes, I know some kooky babies out there that have, using all 50s terms or whatever.
Right.
Ring-a-ding ding.
And that was nice. So they actually did a nice, so one time they actually did something nice for Sean.
So what they did was, they ended up, they went to the Rat Pack. The whole Rat Pack scene is funny. I think we already talked about the jokes that happened there because the Chinese Frank Sinatra guy, like Matt Berry plays it just so deadpan, it's so cool. And and they're like, she's like, empty your wallet or I'll kill all of you. And they're just like, okay. And throw them some money, but it was only like $130. And then one of the
Right. It's like they're
impersonator
not
guys
the real
goes,
Rat Pack.
"Do you?" To the documentary crew ordered to each other, like, "Hey, do you like know those guys? Like, I really need that dough."
They don't. Yeah, like she thinks that they're rich because they're the Rat Pack and they had all this money back then. Of course, she doesn't realize that they're long dead. You know,
The
these are
way
just-
that she was dancing, and then she like lifts her skirt up and has like all those petticoats underneath. She's like, "Look at me, Frankie, it's me," and she's like pointing to her crotch, I guess you would say.
That's
And
how
how
you
she
would
was dancing, and she was like, "Crooner's gonna croon." It was so funny. She's the best.
She is. She's great. She's great. They're all very great. But yeah, they end up. It was nice. They did a nice thing.
Do
Sean
you remember what the plan was to get the money back?
Yeah, it was like a sort of what is it, like a heist kind of thing from.
It was more like there was a boxing match, and like Colin Robinson he was playing 21 and like boring the blackjack dealer and the people he was playing with and like sucking their energy, and he's like, "No, actually I'm just still deciding my cards. I know what you're trying to do. I read the rules and I can talk about anything I want." And he's like, "Who do you favor in the boxing match?" And
Yeah.
so the big plan is like Nandor and Laszlo, they both hypnotize each of the main event box, and they had enough money to buy tickets to go to the box office, and Colin does the bet. So it's very much like an Ocean's 11 thing. Like everybody has their own little mission.
Right.
And Nadia was talking about how she was like always singing, "Ain't that a kick in the head?" And she's like, "Really? What a dumb name for a song." But the incantation from Laszlo and Nandor's boxing like was like initiated by Nadia like getting up and yelling that.
Yeah, that was like the signal. And yeah, they basically fixed the fight so that they would win the money, and yeah, they gave it all to Sean.
And they fixed the fight by one of the boxers hits the other boxer's head clean off his head.
Right. That's right. Ain't that a kick in the head? And then the head goes flying. And I love they're like carrying the
I was
body
actually
out.
like not jump scare, but genuinely shocked. I was like, whoa. I was not expecting that.
That was
like,
a surprise.
Whoa. I wish I had 3D TV. That would have been fun.
Did the head go like land on where did the head land? I don't even remember.
It just kind of comes like toward and like past the camera even.
Oh,
is all I remember. And then people kind of are getting up and like screaming and but then they cut away to like a like confession booth thing or whatever.
Right. But I love it. They're actually carrying the body out later, and it's just like they're just kind of standing around chatting, like they don't even care that there's a body being taken
It's
out.
like
Headless
it's like a
body.
mummy without a head, and it's all bloody on the top, like all wrapped up in gauze and sheets and whatever. So funny.
Yeah, well, I like this. I like this episode quite a bit. This was a fun one. It's a little bit of a different thing. We got a break from some of the other like storylines, like the vampire, the vampiric stuff.
I gotta mention the other thing, which was the whole side story with Colin Robinson and Nandor when he goes because Nandor gets the whole thing you mentioned before is he's playing the Big Bang Theory casino slot machine, and he's obsessed with it. And then he was watching in the hotel room. He's watching the Big Bang Theory, and he goes, "This Big Bang Theory is really faithful to the slot machine." But then he goes, "Colin Robinson, I was wondering why did they call it the Big Bang Theory?" And then Colin explains to him like the actual Big Bang Theory, and Nandor's like, "But I thought that the Earth was just on top of a turtle, which was being like held up by 4 elephants." And he goes, "Yeah, but this is science, and this is what this means, and blah blah blah." And he's like, "But this is a turtle."
I know. Like,
and he goes,
Nandor
"For 750 years, I've thought that we were on a turtle."
His whole life now, like, and he's
like,
I love it. Yeah, he's sitting
talking
on the
Cosmos, like he's like Carl Sagan on the roof. He's like, "I'm just a furry little speck of dust in a vast of nothingness."
Yeah, he's very.
And I don't even have a girlfriend.
Yeah,
Sheldon has a girlfriend.
That thing again.
Their tall leader, Sheldon. Bazinga is a war cry of their tall leader, Sheldon.
That's right. I kind of forgot that was another side story. It sort of does continue the story of like, yeah, Nandor is feeling lonely, and so yeah.
You just reminded me of it when you were like, it was like we were taking a break for stuff, because I was like, there was actually kind of a callback in this one.
Yeah, that definitely was. I completely forgot about that.
I would have totally forgot about that hilarious Big Bang Theory thing if you had mentioned that. So you sparked that back into my brain.
Yeah. All right. So episode 5, this past week's episode, is called The Chamber of Judgment. We actually see them do some vampiric council stuff.
That's right. They get, Nandor and Nadja get to put on the white robes and share the power of the Vampiric Council.
Right. And there's kind of like and Guillermo is there, kind of like, it's funny. It's sort of like it's like trying to play them against each other.
Trying to be like a puppet master to both of them.
Yeah, behind the scenes. But yeah, it's because their first thing is like, well, and the Kristen Shaw is there, and she's like, someone has to sit on the throne. And they're kind of like, oh, well, yeah. And Guillermo's all kind of like, first of all, they want to do it with no one on the throne or whatever. Or first, I guess Nadia's on the throne, and she's like, oh, he's actually, because I'm sitting, Nandor's actually taller than me. It makes it seem like I'm lower beneath him. So then they're like, how about we just push the throne back? And it scrapes up the floor and it makes a noise. Like, all right, that's far enough.
Nandor's like, it's going to be hard to get that out.
Yeah. And Christian Shaw's like, never mind. But then, so they try to do it again. It's a whole big thing, too, because, all these people in robes and everything come out and dance and everything. And Nadia just wants to say, and so, we begin the, whatever. But Christian Shaw keeps saying, no, I'm going to say it. I say it. But she's like, we can't do this. It looks stupid with the throne, an empty throne there. So, every time they go to start, They have to stop again. But and then Guillermo's like, well, why don't I sit on the throne? And he's all like, and they're like,
I'm not a vampire, but they don't know that.
Right. So, the first one is this guy who tricked all these other vampires into going out in the sun.
He said he gave them a magic herb that would prevent them. And then they showed that they have a crow cam. That was big. They were all the vampires were in a mobile home or something, and then they just kept coming out of the thing after they ate the herb and just burning. Yeah. And they kept coming out. out. Maybe after the first guy was screaming and it was on fire, you don't go outside.
Maybe oh no, never mind. But they thought they had this magic herb or something. Oh, and I do want to go back for I want to rewind a quick second, because before they go into the chamber, they have the
HR video?
Yeah, the HR video, which is not video at all. It's 16mm film. It's just the best, because they've had VHS or beta or whatever, and now we have film, and it's harassment training, whatever. And the training, the thing just says anything goes.
It basically. It says do as thou wilt, which is do you ever see the movie The Witch? The Vovo Witch.
I think I never did.
The Witch with Anna Taylor-Joy or whatever in it. Anyways, the spoiler warning, the black goat that is on the Salem, Massachusetts Pilgrim Times farm that they're on is actually the devil. And he says all this stuff that's do as thou wilt. Remove thy sheath. Do you like the taste of butter? Because the goat turns into Satan at the end of the movie. Spoiler warning for the
there you go.
But yeah, do as thou wilt. And then so after the training video, Kristen Shaw's like, see, that's it. And she's like, you can finger me, I can jerk him off, and it's relieves a lot of tension, and we try to get it all done on Thursdays, so anything goes. And Guillermo's no, you don't have to jerk me off.
It's just like, you could slap me on the ass, or whatever. It's great. But yeah, so meanwhile, I don't want to get too far because we get to see Sean again. Sean is back again in this episode because
they're having another like kind of boys' night party. Like they're always having people over for something, like superb owl party.
They had the superb owl party, and now he's having this boys' night, and and like I said, Laszlo's like, I thought it would be just a big circle jerk, I guess. But no. So anyway.
Oh yeah, and Colin's like, no, he didn't mean that.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything.
And he's like, so I invited Colin Robinson, and then Colin Robinson starts doing Jar Jar's voice, and then Laszlo, like, Colin's trying to suck everybody's energy. He's doing like Jar Jar, and Laszlo actually finds it quite charming and quite funny. Quite funny. Colin Robinson. He's like, you don't find that annoying? Yeah. Is he a friend of yours?
Yeah. Anyway, they go in. I love it. So Laszlo has brought cigars, and Colin Robinson brought one of these boring old games where you like.
Oh yeah, it was like Clue, but it was like even worse. Like you had to be into Agatha Christie like mysteries and stuff. Like it was like old Higginbottoms in the Viceroy and this or that.
Yeah. It sounded terrible, but like he wants it to be. He's like, oh, if we start playing now, we can probably be finished by dawn.
Yeah, and they're watching the college hockey, and like, they keep calling him like he like the running gag with him too is like Sean never remembers his name. He keeps calling him like Robinson Crusoe and.
He calls him all these different stuff.
And then like Colin stands
Ferguson,
right in front of the hockey game.
Ferguson or something once.
Yeah,
something like that.
And then he's like, they keep telling him to get out of the way of the TV, and then he busts out that board game.
Yeah, but I love it. It's Sean is such a typical bro, kind of like you were saying earlier, like a Fred Flintstone type of guy. But he's like, hey, you make a better window than a door, or whatever.
Make a better door than a window.
Door than a window, right? I'm sorry.
My dad used to say that to me when I was standing in front of the TV, like, when everybody's TV was like, the size of your laptop screen now.
Right, exactly. But yeah, I think he's like, so anyway, so Sean didn't invite them over just to watch the game. He's talking, so like, it's so awkward though. I love when he's like, so how you guys been sleeping? It's like so awkward. It's like as soon as he says
he's
that,
got like an
wait.
MLM going.
Yeah, that's exactly this guy pillow. He's trying to sell this guy pillow to these guys, and they're all just like, "What?" And then he's like,
pillow for men. It says so right on the box. That's contractually binding.
That's right. Like he said, Charmaine wants one, but I can't use it. It's a guy pillow. But I love it. Like when he says it's like $39.99 or whatever. You're like, Jesus Christ.
They're like $50 for a pillow.
Yeah, like, $49. He's like, I can knock $10 off for you guys. And what you really got to do is you buy like 20 of them or 25 of them, and then you sell them.
Buy extras and make a little lot of. It's like you sell them to your stupid friends because he must still have the brain scramblies, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, like that was.
I assume he still has the brain scramblies. Would you say, or he's just dumb? I can't really tell.
Was always that dumb. Yeah, I don't know.
But he's like, and then you buy a few extras to your stupid friends, like he's doing to his stupid friends and calling them stupid right in front of them.
It is funny. Laszlo he's actually legitimately nice to him. And he's like, Sean.
He's like, my best friend, Sean.
Yeah, my best human
Shawnee!
friend. And he's like, are you in some trouble, old chap? And he's like, yeah, I bought he bought like 100 of them or however many he bought. And he's like, I figured
3. You would buy 25. And then like Colin Robinson's like, I don't sleep with 41 pillows. You need maybe 1 pillow, maybe 2 if you're being nice. You want to help your friend.
I know, it's so sad. It's such.
But so the guy that he bought them from, or the guy fronted him the pillows for profit, is taking him to court, and he's like,
right.
goes to explain that to him, and Laszlo thinks he's hitting on him. He goes, I have a cousin like that, but that's not me, man. And then Laszlo goes, you'll forget you trying to seduce me just now.
Right. You tried to seduce me. That was good. But so he's got to go to court the next day.
This is a court from both sides, all sides, Judge John Hodgman style.
That's right, because Laszlo and Nandor, Nadia and Nandor are in the sort of a different kind of courtroom. But so the big thing here, as they're deciding, the guy who burned all the vampires, they was like, let's this is our first time. Let's be lenient. Okay, 500 years in prison.
Like, I think Guillermo's like, 1 or 2 would be fine.
Yeah, but first they were like, let's kill him, and they're like, oh no, let's be lenient. So when they bring in the next person, and it's actually
I think it's Ryan from the Mosquito Council or whatever it was called.
Yeah, the vampire hunter people there.
That I joined accidentally.
Yeah. But so they left him behind in that house, the vampire house that they went to kill all the vampires, and then they had to run out, and they left him behind, and he got turned into a vampire, and he's the stupidest vampire. He has like no idea.
Right.
And then like, oh, you violated all these rules. He's like, well, if somebody explained the rules, I would, it probably would have been okay. Like, he's such a dope.
And he's literally wearing like a Halloween costume vampire. And I'm just like, what are you wearing?
Yeah, he's like, it's hard to find vampire clothes.
And then he was like, vampire finery.
Finery, yeah.
Is there a place I could go? It's funny because it reminded me of the other vampires, like the hipster vampires, like the ones that they visited like in the first or second episode.
Right.
It's like these guys are newly vampires.
Yeah.
Whereas our main characters have been vampires for hundreds of years.
They've been doing it for hundreds of years. So he's also got this cage that they say like has like a demon in it or something. Like, we don't know. They just
says it's a hellhound. It's a hellhound.
Yeah, got like a monster in there. Yeah, a hellhound. Yeah, and they're like, oh god. So they were like, oh, we were lenient to the last guy. Maybe this guy. Yeah, and they were like, yeah, let's kill him. Like, they both. It's great because Nandor and Nadia both agree. Oh yeah, this guy needs to die. Okay,
right,
we're gonna
but
put
it's
him in
actually.
the sun.
Yeah, it's actually Guillermo's friend, so he's like, oh shit, I gotta go help this guy.
And he feels guilty because he's sort of responsible for him being a vampire because he didn't go back and arrest him.
Yeah, and he didn't he's like when he talks to him later, he's like, you could have looked me up or something. He's like, I just thought he was dead. He's like, this has been weighing on me heavily, but I just thought he was dead.
I just thought he was dead. So I love it. He goes to see him. He's in like this prison, and when the sun, moves, he'll burn. But he keeps putting his hand like in the sunlight. He's like, I thought you would have figured that out by now. Because he keeps
says he keeps walking into it's like the interview with the vampire, you know, like the well. That like Kristen Sheldon calls it the sun well.
Yeah. But I love he keeps doing it. And he's like, I kind of figured you would have figured it out by now. He actually gets his coat. He's like, I'm gonna get you out of here. Yeah. And this is kind of where the trials intersect a little bit because, back to Laszlo for a minute. Because he's like, oh, I've been a lawyer, or whatever. He doesn't say that, but I know a little bit about the law. Yeah, so he goes, he's going to represent Sean in the small claims court.
He's like, I've mostly represented myself in manners of solicitation and pornography, and then he's like, I've also represented a lot of hogs and horses.
Yeah. But he wears the powdered wig thing that English barristers wear. I love it. He's like, I don't know what you're doing wearing that thing.
Hey, do you like that movie? I was thinking, I don't know if you like this movie, but I was thinking it would be a fun league podcast to do A Fish Called Wanda.
I love that movie. Yeah. It was awesome.
And something we could talk about at another time. But of course, John Cleese is a barrister in that movie.
Yes, indeed. And I love I love that movie. It is a good one. We should put it on the list. But so like Laszlo, he has no idea. He just keeps saying objection. He has no idea. And they're little.
And the first objection is, this man has the hair of a pedophile.
Yeah, pedophile. And then, may I approach the bitch? What did you just say? May I approach the bench? He's like, oh, I thought you called me something.
And then when Colin Robinson was like, he recited some rule back to the judge that was like, Section 18 of blah, blah, blah. He's like, this is actually a real rule that you can't be discriminated against by what he's wearing. He's like, I looked that rule up after I saw that he was wearing a lady's wig.
No, he's like, I just looked that up. I just Googled that or whatever. But so I mean, obviously he fails. Laszlo does not win the thing.
But he doesn't even understand when the judge says it. And she's like, yes, the plaintiff wins for $12,700 or whatever. And then,
whatever.
And then Laszlo goes, what does that mean?
Yeah.
And Sean's like, we lost.
Yeah, I know. He's like, what? He's all mad. So then, apparently they go out drinking or whatever, and then like, oh, we lost Laszlo, whatever. Because he shows up to the chamber.
Well, yes, that was a very funny and not something they do that often here, except for that they did do a couple of mentions of eating actual food back in the casino thing, like where like Nandor was like cutting up his chicken or whatever, but they were going to eat it because the vampires in this universe, they can't eat human food or they'll throw up fucking everywhere.
Right.
And then but also like when Nadia's out with seeing the Rat Pack, and they all these big girly drinks with like umbrellas and flowers, and she's like, oh, alcohol, yum yum, I love to drink it, yum yum yum. She puts it down. But they go back to the vampire residence, not to Sean's house, and they had to carry Laszlo in because Sean explains that we went out with a couple of finance guys. These guys, they were double fisting drinks, and all of a sudden they left. Then we couldn't find Laszlo, and they must have just gone bar hopping or whatever, and he comes back here, and Laszlo's like all fucked up because he drank the finance guys.
Right. I love it. He looks. He's like, I've never been in here before. You guys must do a lot of antiquing.
Yeah, and he goes to touch something. Guillermo's don't touch that.
Yeah, he drank. He feasted on the drunk people. I guess he got drunk. But anyway. So when they do see him though, or when Guillermo sees that Laszlo did this, he's like, oh, then we'll have him be the lawyer, and he'll represent his buddy.
Yeah, his friend Ryan. in front of Nandor and Nadia again, which is like they were all mad because he said, Guillermo, you should have been ashes hours ago. What are you doing? What is this outfit?
Yeah.
And then comes in with the Hellhound box again.
Right. And Laszlo just passes right out. He doesn't have any chance to defend it, but he's kind of like, oh, like
Guillermo was like, I guess what Laszlo was trying to say, and he just does it all for him.
And I love this. He's like, it's like statute 18 or whatever. He's like, I just made that up. But they end up, he doesn't, they don't kill him. But he has to do he has to win. He has to, basically what happens is he has to sell the pillows. It's really
he
the result.
basically he says that like Guillermo set it up so that Laszlo like had to use this guy basically as a familiar. Like he had to teach him what to do as a vampire, because his crimes were like stealing IV bags from like the Red Cross, feasting on like people sleeping in the park, and other like things that were like totally blatantly obvious vampire things that you're not supposed to do. I forget what the other one was. I don't know. Do you remember?
I know. I don't remember. But
they're all very funny.
Yeah, but it's funny. She has like this long scroll, and she's like, "Oh no, that's it. I thought there would be more." Christian Shaw is reading all his crimes. Yeah, and it's all just stuff that would reveal to people that you're an actual vampire. But yeah, he does. She's like, "Oh no, that's it." But yeah, so it's like a sentence to life with Laszlo, basically.
Yeah.
And so Laszlo tells him, "Okay, now you gotta go sell these pillows."
He's like kind of on parole, you know,
Yeah.
and Laszlo's his parole officer.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then so so that's kind of like the mid-credit or post-credit sequence, right? As
Right.
the pillow scene.
He goes, yeah, the guy's like, "No, I don't want to." He's like, "You will listen and not be a dick about
Yeah,
this."
he like he hypnotizes him with his
Yeah.
limited vampire powers, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Don't be a dick about this, man."
Yeah, you want to be a dick about it. So I love
I
it
did
though. Again,
mention,
helping Sean.
yeah, right, helping Sean. I did mention last week, last time we talked about, or maybe it was on the first episode, was that Kyle Newacek from Workaholics, like he directed this episode.
Yes.
And you can really he does have a certain style. That show very much fits in with the humor of the show, and I think that he's hilarious, and it was very funny. Very funny.
Yeah, I did not know that. I didn't. I think you did mention that though. Yeah, that's. Yeah, this
for
one
those
is
fans
good as
out
well.
there that know Workaholics, they would know that he's one of the guys, and he's part of this a lot this season. Actually, he's directed more than one episode, so he's like a consulting producer. He's like part of the whole creative team.
I was wondering if we would see more like sort of guest appearances when they were in the chamber, but like
Right.
other vampires. Or
well, I was just thinking like that's another like just a whole other set that they're trying to make like definite use of, and they have the wraiths, and it was funny like we kind of glossed over that, but they were like using like all these theater terms. It's like no, the ceremony doesn't start right, and it's like okay, right. Everybody, your wraiths take 5, but don't go anywhere. We have to figure
don't
out,
go, don't wander around. Oh, we should have mentioned that Guillermo does open the hellhound cage, the cage that has the hellhound in it, and they're like, "No, Guillermo, don't do it," and it's like the cutest lab comes out, and
he's like rubbing his belly, and they're like, "How does he tame them?" And then Colin's just even Colin Robinson, like he seems to be the most human, but still other times just he's totally in the ether with those guys too. He's just he must just be part of his magical DNA.
Yeah, part of his mat, and then and the dog like sticks his nose in his crotch, and it's like, oh, his crotch must.
Yeah, he must have a magical crotch too, I guess.
It was like that episode where Larry, they thought Larry got like a Woody from like having the dog in his crotch on Curb Enthusiasm. But yeah, so cutest puppy. So anyway, but it was great to see what's his name again? Why do I keep forgetting his name? Ryan? What's his name? I forget. Was it Ryan? I think it was. But they keep going back. I want to see Craig Robinson again. That's what I want to see. But
that's right.
Derek. That was his name. Why can't I? Derek is such a great name. But yeah. Good
There we
stuff.
go.
There you go.
2 episodes.
2 episodes, yeah.
Double down.
Yeah. How many more are left? What are there? Do we know? Are there 8?
Usually like 12 or 13, right?
Oh, okay. I hope so. Because that's... looks like 10. It looks like only 10.
Great.
Oh, no. But we're only halfway through. This is only 5. So.
That's right. And the closer they get to Halloween, the better.
Yeah. Oh my God, I can't believe that we're so close to Halloween. It's only like a month away.
That's what I'm saying.
Jeez, crazy. All right, well, yeah. Anything else we want to cover here, Clay? You got anything? Like, check us out, leaguepodcast.com, of course, wherever you get podcasts.
What league those in the shadows?
Oh, look at that.
I put that on my Twitter thing today because I was just like, you know what? It's like, people put like funny Twitter names for Halloween, like, like I don't even know, like Matt. horror show fraction or whatever. Like they always, everyone changes it October 1st. So I changed mine today to what League does in the shadows.
I like
Put the
that.
focus on that.
Yeah, I like that a lot. That's great.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah, so keep checking us out. We're gonna do the rest of obviously what we do in the shadows. We're still doing some James Bond, getting ready for that one. It's all up there at leaguepodcast.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
That's right, leaguepodcast.com. And then pretty soon, what do we got? When does Curb Your Enthusiasm start?
I'm not sure. That's a good question. I think it's sometime in October, but yeah, I hope it's soon. But we'll be doing that too. Man, that's
October 24th.
Oh, okay. So we still got a few weeks for that.
But then we'll have to do Curbcast, League Podcast, and Vampire Council.
And Vampire Council. Wow. We're going to be busy
yeah, we're
boys.
giving the people the content that they didn't ask for. On a somewhat weekly basis. Weekly, bi-weekly, like men, women, men, women. That was Laszlo saying all of the things that he likes to have sex with. And they cut away to him, and he goes, anything can make me hard. And Nadia's like, yes, it's kind of a problem. And he's like, not for me. He's the horniest horn dog this season. Wow.
He really is. It's really
he's
all
living
about
at the height of his horniness.
Porn. Yeah, he's at the height of his horniness. All right.
770s or whatever, however old he is.
Guess you never get too old for that. Old chum.
That's right.
So, yeah, anyways.
I'm going to go out to the potting shed and whack off. And so I'll see you guys later.
But thanks for listening, everybody. Yeah, I'm going to head out to our potting sheds and take care of it. And have a little circle jerk.
Let's be clear. We're going to go, we're not anywhere near each other. We're going out to our respective potting sheds that are very far away from each other to do that.
Right. But, well, have a good night, everyone. Have a good night, Clay. Day, if you're having to listen during the day.
All right.
You're not slumbering.
3, 2, 1, bat. Okay. 3, 2, 1, bat. Close enough. I have an actual sound effect, but I'm going to keep yours in.
Oh, no, I'll put the actual.
No, but I'll double them up. And this is all going to be there too.
It's one of the hardest guitar pieces in the world to play.